killed the dinosaurs.
Ice Age. So today we're going to be talking about Batman and Robin 1997. Now hold on here, don't switch your brain off. Now this is infamous for being one of the worst, if not the worst, Batman film ever produced. Joel Schumacher was directing this. It was his second one. Batman Forever had done really well in 1995, and this is 2 years later. It was supposed to be the summer blockbuster, and you just look at the cast. Uma Thurman, George Clooney being Batman. He was an awful Batman. Great Bruce Wayne. Arnold Schwarzenegger as Mr. Freeze. Chris O'Donnell returning as Robin. Done a great job in the Batman Forever film. There was a lot of high expectations for this, and I remember the marketing for this just being out of this world. I think I was 7, maybe 6 pushing 7 when this film was released. And of course, huge Batman fan. And even I, as a kid, remember watching it just thinking it was a lot of fun. It wasn't as good as Batman Forever. I remember thinking that, and it certainly wasn't as good as Batman 1989. But it was still fun. This was my thing. As a kid, I still watched it and enjoyed it. Got the VHS and probably rinsed that about 5 or 6 times just on Christmas Day alone. I still thought it was a very fun film. And one of the biggest critiques that this film gets, other than Arnie's over-the-top cheesy performance and absolutely god-awful ice puns as Mr. Freeze, one of the main negative criticisms that it does get is that it was like a huge toy commercial. Well, that does wonders for this episode of Inside the Toy Room, where we're going to be talking about the 1997 Batman and Robin toy collection, because that was one of the things that really took me into toy collecting properly. I'd started in about 2004. Around 2013, I'd rewatched all the Batman films, and I remember thinking the 1997 film being a toy commercial was actually a really good starting point for me to really dive into toy collecting. And I started purchasing a lot of the figures mint in box on eBay. And one of the first things I wanted to get was this. This is called the Bat Hammer. Now, the vehicle selection from Batman and Robin was amazing. I remember that film as they're going to fight Mr. Freeze. They've all got these, he's frozen Gotham City over, and they've all got these new vehicles. Batgirl had literally just got a costume, but all of a sudden her now has a second costume or something like that. It was, again, they're just selling toys. But this was one of my favourite ones, and I just remember this being amazing. The Batmobile actually from that film is my favourite Batmobile. And again, that goddamn jumble sale that I had as a kid. I got rid of that Batmobile, and it still stings to this day. That's something that I need to get added to this collection. But, you know, every time I've actually searched for that, it's been pretty expensive for considering what I probably paid for it in 1997, which would have been about £15. Have I broke you with that?
That goddamn jumble sale. I should have just, like, that'd be a perfect t-shirt. Goddamn jumble sale.
Honestly, mate, I lost so much good. Probably to buy like a plaggy wrestling belt for our backyard promotion. Oh. Kenner once again had the rights to produce all the Batman action figures, and they kind of stuck with a model that served them reasonably well with the animated series and with previous figures before that, of taking an action figure, just repainting it and adding a few accessories. They just did a better job with this. It was a lot smarter. Then they'd add all these different things. They did a lot of twin packs. Guardians of Gotham City, they're in the suits that they're wearing at the very end of that film. The Challengers of the Night, which is probably my favourite dual set here. A Green Robin, I just think it looks amazing. Batman in like a metallic blue and silver. Again, metallic action figures were so cool in the 1990s. This one, A Cold Night in Gotham City, is the one that cost me the most. I actually paid £70 for that twin pack right there. It's since gone up in value. The only thing that's annoying about it, and I never knew this when I was buying it, is the plastic around the figures that's holding them has been sun damaged, and it's kind of dyed yellow, and it's so annoying, and I didn't know until that arrived. But at that point it was so hard to find. Like £70 is pretty cheap for it. You usually pay around £120, £130. So I was like, you know what, I'm not going to return this, I'm just going to grin and bear it. I've only just started making a dent in this collection. There's so many variations of Batman and Robin that I still need to get. This film had so much, like I say, Poison Ivy, Bane and Mr. Freeze, so you had 3 villains. You had Batman, Robin and the introduction of Batgirl, so there was a lot to get for this. One of my favourite things in my collection is right down here, and that's a 1997 Batman and Robin Scalextric set. I came across this purely by accident, but there weren't actually that many that was made of this, and so when I got it I was like super happy. Wanted to take it out of the box just to set it all up. But yeah, these are pretty hard to find from all accounts, and I was quite fortunate. I got this at a pretty steal price on eBay at like 20 quid, so I was quite happy with that. There's a bunch of other action sets that came with it, a miniature Batcave. Big shout out to Kaz Crash for getting me that for Christmas. There's so many other toys that I still need to add to this collection. And like I say, I started this collection in 2013, but you get so many other toys that you start collecting along the way, right? And so occasionally I just add the odd thing to this, or someone might get me something for Christmas. Either my fiance, my brother-in-law actually got me one of those Batman action figures this Christmas, which was really cool. I've just been able to add to over the years, and I continue to add to. But yeah, eventually one day this is going to be a complete collection. So that's my 1997 Batman and Robin collection so far. Next week we're going to be focusing on something completely different and something that's very near and dear to me, and that's Godzilla. Until then, freeze well, bird boy.